Last week, Attorney General Merrick Garland had to ask the U.S. Department of Justice to start looking into the plethora of threats that school boards across the country have been receiving in recent months. And yes, a lot of these threats, a lot of the anger, a lot of the abuse, a lot of the hatred is coming from the anti-mask and anti-vax sections of the American public. They don't want their kids to have to be forced to wear a mask at school. They don't think it's fair that there's vaccine mandates in some areas for these state employees. So they're going to the school board meetings, and we've all seen the videos. We've watched these nut jobs absolutely lose their minds against these poor, school board employees just sitting there trying to do a job that's not even their full-time job, taking this kinds of abuse in public. But here's the thing about this request to the DOJ. It's not just about the people we have seen on camera. It's about what's happening that we don't see. These individuals across the country, according to reports, are getting death threats on a regular basis. It's to the point where we have had countless school board members across the country resign because the threats are so intense and the threats are so severe. They've had people show up at their homes. They have had people calling their cell phones. They're getting threats constantly, far beyond what we see in these videos of crazy people at the school board meetings. That's just the tip of the iceberg of what these individuals are actually facing. It's appalling, it's disgusting, and it is way past time, by the way, for the DOJ to finally step in and say, okay, we're going to start investigating these people. Because I don't know if you realize this, folks, but you cannot make a death threat against another human being here in the United States. That's not legal. Yet that is what is happening with these school board members. People are calling them, threatening to murder them. And so far, the DOJ has just been like, well, So Merrick Garland, Attorney General of the United States, had to step up and say, no, listen, you buffoons that work for me, get out there and work on this problem before something happens. Because that's the key. The threats only come for so long before somebody finally does something horrendous. And hopefully the DOJ does take these threats seriously, and hopefully they get on it and prevent atrocities from happening across the country. But there's another part of this story too. And this doesn't necessarily involve the DOJ, obviously, but as I mentioned, we do have school board members resigning, some of them en masse, entire school boards stepping down because of the threats. And do you know who's stepping up to replace them? The anti-maskers themselves. It's all over the conservative social media websites out there. We have had conservative talkers begging their audiences to go out there and run for these school board positions, coaching them on how to do it, telling them to take over control of the schools. So that's the other side of this. It's not just the fact that they're threatening to kill these individuals. It's that they're essentially forcing them to resign so they can take over their seats. And God help us all if that actually happens.